Spark a conversation, verbal elation, stimulation, education. This is Menage with the Mary Jane Maven. When we on the air, it's always a lituation. Might talk about some litigation, might talk about some immigration, might talk about some politics, but never talking nonsense. Yes, we on in the slide. Watch and listen, it's a vibe. Watch it while you getting high, or you can listen while you drive. Just don't forget to subscribe.
Roll up. Trying to get high.
Welcome to Menage with the Mary Jane Maven Podcast with your host, the Mary Jane Maven. I am the producer, the hubby. Follow us on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Show us some love and click that subscribe button now. Don't forget to click the bell so you get notifications and click the like button on the videos.
And now, your host.
So hello, everybody. I am so happy to have you back with your girl, Mary Jane Maven. I hope that you guys have had a completely elevated, happy existence, happy cannabinoid system, happy chemistry, happy life. We're going to steal that a little bit from happy wife, happy life. I hope that you guys had a wonderful 420. We've been busy. We've been busy with creating content. And so our platform has changed a little bit where we went from like live episodes to you will get them. Okay. They're there. They're coming. We have a few in the arsenal. Isn't that right? The hubby.
Yeah, they're just in post-production right now.
Yes. And he is, you know how great that he's done on the podcast in this almost 3 years. It's become his baby and as well as the others. So he takes a lot of time in post-production, guys, to make sure that we're getting you the right product. And that I shine, as I naturally do. But welcome, guys. I love you. I miss you. And tonight we have a fantastic episode for you. Me, I talk excessively. When I meet people, I'm all about their positivity and their energy. And tonight's guest co-host, I like to talk them up a bit, so I don't want to give you too much. But tonight's guest co-host is somebody that I met. What was it? 2-3 months ago now? Probably 3 months.
Yeah.
At an event here in Sacramento. I talked to you guys about it when it happened and was very, very excited that this event was being put on. Shout out to Sac Confidential. Oh my gosh, I just drew a blank on what I was going to say. That's where puts in the sound effects. But we met there. We were next to each other. Actually, our boots were next to each other. And I'll just save a little bit for you, but let me say the positive energy and the color of her, aura and, amber is the color that just popped in my head. Her energy is definitely an amber, beautiful, just golden energy. And I immediately knew, that I had to introduce myself, get to know this goddess, this queen, and get her on the podcast so that you guys as well can get to know her, because guarantee she's going to leave a footprint of significance and inspiration on your life. So you heard her voice. You've probably seen her. I don't know, the producer, he's great at his thing. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed my backdrop. I have to go ahead and give a shout out first and foremost to the best NBA team to ever do it. Shout out to my homies. I act like everybody's my best friend. Shout out to Steph and Clay Bay and all the new additions to the squad this year. We are in playoffs. We did just do the thing and pull out a good win last night. So you guys will be seeing the Warriors championship, some of the swag that we have pretty much until we win the whole thing, because we're going to win.
Have you introduced her? I know you described her, but did you actually introduce her?
I'm going to.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you, producer. He does a good job. So today's quote we're going to start off with really quickly here is, I am strong because I've been weak. I am fearless because I've been afraid. Fearless. I can read. I am fearless because I've been afraid. You really want to have fierceness, not fierceless, as I said. I am wise because I've been foolish. This is something that we all need to be accountable of. We all, we're not perfect beings. I am this close, but There's sometimes that we have, we make mistakes, and those mistakes are actually lessons in disguise. We stumble, but that's only so that we can get back up and walk again. I mean, you look at a baby that's newly walking, those poor babies, little tink tinks, they just be falling all over the place, bumping into shit, but that doesn't stop them. They don't just sit down and look at you like, well, what do you do next? It's innate in them to continue and to evolve. And so it's the same with us. So I'm a quote girl. I love quotes. And, it kind of now leads me into introducing our guest co-host, because I think that she can relate to that quote. And I think it's a good foundation for what she's going to share today, and for you guys to get to know a little bit about her. So our guest co-host today is somebody that, like I said, I had the pleasure of meeting a couple of months ago. She is a true divine and universally purposed individual. She's a goddess with a creative and an artistic soul, talent, and mind that is so prevalent. It is so obvious that it's meant to, you to be utilized to leave a footprint of, like I said, positivity and inspiration on the lives of others, if not the world. And I undoubtedly, I'm a little bit of a psychic, but I have no doubt in my mind that she will definitely do just that. Provide you with, like I said, her amber energy, her caring soul. And we all need women that really can identify with the goddess that they are and their strengths and even their weaknesses, to turn those weaknesses into strengths. Because they're just, they're strengths in disguise. They're in training. Your weaknesses are that to say. So she is definitely going to be somebody that walks within her passion and purpose, all the while claiming her space in our society, within the cannabis community and within the community of, the City of Trees. She's going to be somebody who leaves, like I said, that inspiration of powerful motivation, and, the blessing of her art as well. I do have a piece of her artwork, but before I continue to go on, please welcome to the podcast our very special guest co-host, Shannon, and I'm going to say Shan Smokes. Shan Smokes Shatter. I am very, very happy to have you here. I will call you an artist, a canna artist, a goddess who is truly tapping into what her passion and purpose is, and probably somebody who took her talent in art kind of for granted until you started on your journey and your evolution, which has you where you are now, and you're utilizing your voice and your message that you have, your message that everybody has a life message, but that life message throughout your art. So
yeah,
I want to thank you so much. I'm very grateful to have you here and to jump into all the bullshit that these episodes need, my interest can bring, and to share, like I said, who you are, to raise the awareness of what your talents are, and to really let the people of the City of Trees and everywhere else know the blessing and the honest queen that you are. So once again, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be here.
So before we get started deep into everything today, I did want to go ahead and let you guys know a little bit about this episode and our sponsorship. So this episode and the podcast is sponsored by the network that we actually, where you can find us. It's one of the many places that you can find our episodes and my content, but it is Full Swap Radio. Okay, Full Swap Radio, guys. That is one of the platforms, like I said, that you'd be able to find our content. We just actually were added to the Apple Store. So you can download the app there. We've already been in the Google Play or like the Android store. You can download the app and listen to all of the shows that are, part of the network. But I did want to give them a little shout out because Full Swap has been nominated for one of the top 5 best businesses. And I want to make sure I get the verbiage right. I don't want to explain in my own way, as I tend to do. They are up for the best supporting business. They have made the top 5 list, and you guys can go on and vote. Go download the app or follow our podcast. I've mentioned it before, of course, Menage. But we would love for you guys to go ahead and support, because without them, I wouldn't be able to create this great content, and you guys wouldn't have me in your life. You would still. But what you could do is the hubby. And when you guys see this video, we will go ahead and put the link at the bottom of the video, and you guys can click directly on the link. We do ask that you vote up to the 2 times per day that you are able to vote. We would love to get your support for Full Swap Radio to win the best supporting business at the ASN. And I'm sorry, I did not say that, but the ASN awards this year. So shout out to them. Thank you for your support. We love you. Secondly, I want to give a little shout out to Broccoli Mag. I did learn that they are local here. And I wish I would have known that before you guys, spent on the shipping and handling. I would have brought my ass right across and picked these up. But Broccoli Mag is a great publication, you guys. You can just go ahead and get the reduced monthly issue, or like the newsletter from them if you join. But they were very kind to go ahead and send me copies for me to raffle off and for my 420 event. So a few of you have won it. You've already been contacted. But if anybody wants this, it's a really cool piece of content to have. I mean, thumbing through it a little bit here, this will be a good kind of little coffee table book. Some great information. And it is a piece of content that we need to help to normalize this industry. So shout out to Broccoli Mag. Well, like I said, located here in the City of Trees. If you guys don't know, Google, find out what that means or where we are. You should know, though. There's only one City of Trees. Everybody else tell you different. So as we get started, I'm really trying to stall as much as possible before getting to the spark and salutations, because I am waiting on my delivery. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because it's still another 15 minutes. So we will get you guys the opportunity. We don't want you to wait, although I wouldn't if I was listening or, I couldn't see you. Vice versa. I'd probably be lit already. But go ahead. You guys know what this is as we get started. The spark and salutations. So roll up your sativa, your hybrid, your indica, get your edible, get your wax, get your torch, get all ready. Let's get elevated. I will be joining you guys expeditiously. So we want to talk about, part of the comments here, what we do during Spark and Salutations is we ask, what are you puffing on? What is your obsession with the plant right now? So what is your obsession? Tell us a little bit about how you are medicating. Oh, Shan, sorry.
You're busy. Sorry. I'm sorry. I was I'm just smoking on this backwood. The banana backwoods have been my favorite lately. So,
oh my gosh, aren't they so good?
Yes.
I tried backwoods first. I'm gonna give it to you. It must be a thing. I'm a little bit older, just a little bit, but I cannot spend and make the investment that backwoods costs. 1, 2. I watched you. You rolled that like it's nothing, and you don't put a little bit in there. Like the event that we were at.
Yeah,
it was a lot of guys, and these guys came in there and they were rolling like probably almost a fucking quarter, and like backwoods. And I'm sitting there watching them like, well, first I'm glad that I'm in the vicinity because that's gonna get passed this way. But then I look over to my left, and she's rolling just as much as I was like, okay, she's keeping up with the big dogs in here. And what I observed is that you and your guest that was with you, you guys smoked more than the guys that were kind of walking around rolling. I mean, if I wanted to be a scavenger, I could have walked away with a lot of almost smoked, but not quite smoked, backwoods that were put out there.
Yeah.
I laughed at how much they were putting out. Like they were taking 2-3 puffs. It was going around the circle and somebody would put it out. And I was like, oh, you would get smoked under the table. But I love the banana. I love that. First of all, me and bananas, anything. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything. You make some good banana pudding, we could be best friends.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me my favorite cakes for my birthday, and I'm like, anything banana. And people look at me like, what?
Banana cream pie.
Oh my gosh. I went to Nations recently, and like I said, I'm trying to be good on my snacks. So it was so hard for me not to get a slice of banana cream pie. It was so hard. If you guys don't know about Nations and their pies, that's if you have a Nations Hamburgers in your area and you have not tried their pies, get yourself together right now.
Their burgers are better.
He loves their burgers. He loves their burgers. Have you ever had Nations?
I have. That was like when I was a kid. That was very nostalgic for me.
Yes. My family is in the East Bay in Pittsburgh, and that was like a thing. You either went to the hamburger stand, which was like 19-cent cheeseburgers and hamburgers after church, or you went to Nations. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. All right. That text message, guys. And hopefully I'm going to be able to send the hubby out. But if not,
she won't.
If not, I'm going to step away from the camera for a second. But you always have the entertaining voice of hubby. Now this one says 9:00. Y'all better stop playing.
They keep pushing it.
They do. So they send you a text message from the actual driver that'll tell you to track his time. So I just refreshed that. And yep, it does say 9:00, even though he's only 2 stops away, like I said, on Fruit Ridge. For those of you that live in the area that you're familiar, I stay off of Bruceville, okay, and Valley High, let's just say.
Allegedly.
Right. Somewhere in between that area, guys. But Fruit Ridge to what exit you would take, there's a couple that you could take off the freeway, but should that take 19 minutes? Those of you that know the area, comment, let me know if you think that's ridiculous.
And do not try coming knocking.
Please don't. I mean, yeah, don't. Yeah, I've said a couple of times where we live across the street from too. See, somebody might figure it out. I know I have stands, but let's not. That's total joke. Total tongue in cheek. So, yes, we were talking about bananas, right? Yes.
Bananas.
Nations, everything. Yes. See, I do remember stuff. Smokers do remember. So, for our wedding, we went to go get our cake, and my only thing was like, I want a banana cake. Like I wanted chocolate cake part, but I wanted the filling to be bananas. Oh, I was so excited. And I had a really good baker who was like, you don't want that in the summertime. I was getting married in September, Labor Day weekend. And, it's always hot. He goes, you don't want that. Nobody will eat your cake and you will be very, very upset. And I was like, no, I like bananas and shit when they, have ripened a lot. So like, I like really good, almost kind of brown, but firm bananas in like my banana, pudding or best thing I've had is this flavor of banana ice cream. It's a banana flavored ice cream. That's kind of like Chunky Monkey. I used to sit and eat a whole pint of Chunky Monkey, but I've gotten into coconut based ice cream and things like that. Costs a little bit more, but there's a great banana creme brulee, and I can't remember the name of the brand. So freaking good. Oh my gosh, so good. So everybody's like, what the fuck is this banana talk? So getting back to the bananas. Yeah, right. If you guys don't know, you should. I like the King Palms. So I like the banana cream and the King Palms. Yeah. And actually I'm getting some banana cream strain delivered, hopefully in 16 minutes. Shout out to the Monterey Reed Company. They have a banana cream, 34% THC, get you to where you need to be. So probably roll that up first since I talked about it. But so is that your favorite? I mean, we know that the Backwood is your favorite, but what's kind of your favorite strain right now, or what's your kind of go-to?
I go to like anything wedding cake, anything that's a cake strain. I primarily dab, so like I would say Backwoods, like they're kind of like my guilty pleasure is what I call it, because it's like I don't drink alcohol at all. I only smoke, so it's like this is kind of like my guilty pleasure. But I would say the dabbing.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. So I tell me a little bit about your dabbing life. I met a young lady the other day, and I'm actually going to talk about her brand new brand. So you guys please be on the lookout for this brand new brand that is coming out in Sacramento. But we were talking the other day and she says, I'm a pretty heavy smoker. I was like, me too, girl. She's like, I do about 10 grams, 11 grams per day. I was like, oh shit. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And she smokes all pre-rolls and then she dabs a lot too, so Ellis, I think it's something that it's becoming more normalized and just more prevalent for people to utilize, start using dabs as part of, how they medicate. So tell me a little bit about your favorite, either brands, and just a little bit about your dabbing journey.
I would say I actually started dabbing like when I was 18 years old. Okay. I had first tried it. I actually worked my way up to it. So I had been smoking weed and then I started smoking hash. And then that's when I had worked my way up to the concentrates. And I don't know, it was it was a very powerful high. And it was definitely very convenient. So that was something that I really liked about it. Was initially it was like kind of just one and done. And it was like I could take one hit. Oh my gosh, I could go to sleep.
Right.
I could eat. Yeah, it was just so convenient.
Off your ass off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember your very first dab? And
I do.
If you remember the strain of it, or was it, and was it chatter? Was it, straight wax?
It was just straight wax, but I don't remember the strain of it. But I remember I took it out of like a 3-foot bong. It was or it was a zong. Yes, it was like a zong. Yeah.
Like you were going for it. You're like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Do it right.
Exactly. We going in.
So, when were you just with friends? Did you obviously? Your first experience with another form of the plant, especially when you're taking it out of a fucking 3-foot, contraption. There, you definitely got head high, body high, full spectrum. So, do you remember, what you felt like, or like when you realized, like, I am high?
Yeah. I was with my boyfriend and his friends. And so like his friends were really big into dabbing. So that was kind of like, why I got into it, like that whole scene and stuff. And we were actually in his grandma's apartment. And so we were in the bathroom and I just remember like taking this hit. And after that, it was like, I just felt so high and like everything just was so funny, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is, I tell people all the time, so my husband was not a fan. He was like, I do not want to have to get a toolbox with a fucking torch. He's like, and every time we see somebody do it, they lay out a mat and they got to take this out, you got to put it together, and then this, and if the torch doesn't have butane, then you got to get butane. And I was like, I get it. I worked at nope, it wasn't Hall of Flowers. It was Emerald Cup.
You have been worked the Emerald Cup before.
It was Emerald Cup, and I was with the company just doing some, it was right when dispensaries were getting big and when they were, getting their licenses. And so I worked with a company that put live menus and like actually have their own kind of cannabis-based content. So instead of putting on like, fucking Family Guy, which is hilarious to me, high or not.
Yeah.
Instead of putting on How High and, just shit on repeat, you could have cannabis-based content that would relate to your clients. And then brands could also buy ad space. So, you have people sitting in the waiting room watching this and they're able to go, oh shit, you know what? I just saw a commercial for that. So Eighth Brothers, for example, so I was working with them and it was a long day, a very, very long day. Like I was probably doing 12 hours. And then after that, they were like, you have to come to the after party. And it was in Santa Rosa. And, I have a great hubby that is out, he knows I know how to drive and shit, but he's like, you may not be able to go after party. I was like, I got this. So after a day of being at this event where you could just smoke at the booth, and the company I was with, we set up that 70 show basement as for people to just like, as you're walking around and you're high, come sit down, come sit on the couch, smoke, hang out, so it was a lot of fun. And I got past lots of blunts and joints that day. But so I was taking a break and I was going around and, I had a ban on that allowed people to just go, here, you want this? You want this? Try this. So what happened, man? Are you fucking serious? Oh my gosh. So I don't know if you heard the hubby, but the Supreme Court is getting ready to strike down Roe v. Wade. Texas, thank you, because I think of them. banning and outlawing abortion. This has started the conversation, and clearly because people probably from Texas have, brought up, lawsuits against the state and whatnot. I would assume, which is why it's now in front of the Supreme Court. And I cannot believe that 30, 40 plus years after giving the women the right to determine whether they want to have babies or not, or I'm sorry, to have control over their own reproductive systems, we're going to take steps back and take that right away. And I'm just doing a real gloss over that, because if I start to talk about it, Shannon will be like, did she really have me on here to talk about Supreme Court? I will get on my soapbox. I am very passionate about we individuals, and especially within America, us having our right to determine how our wellness is. We should have complete control over our bodies.
I agree.
Oh my gosh, that just shook me. So, wow, let's add that to, the time that we remember when this happened, just like when the coronavirus started happening, we were recording and the NBA shut down. And I was like, oh shit, this corona shit is for real. So that was during an episode of the podcast too. So, wow. That just shook me. That really kind of shook me. Looks like I'm going to be doing a lot of research on that after tonight's episode and finding out the book. Okay. So, well, I definitely need my delivery to hurry up and get here. Wow. That just, I'm rarely speechless, and I'm kind of speechless right now, guys. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to jump back. I'm going to get back into my train of thought here. So yes, I was at the Emerald Cup. It's gone 5 minutes. It's now 9:05. Good Lord. Okay, so I went on break and they were like, you've been here talking your ass off, like go take a very long break. So I went around and people were giving me shit, and I stopped by, this guy who was giving dabs. And I said, oh, tell me a little bit about this. I'm somewhat familiar, but, never tried. I had actually tried it once with a friend of mine from high school. And we were grown-ass woman driving around trying to find a park to smoke in because she lived with her grandmother. And that's when I was like, I am too old for this shit. I haven't driven around to go find somewhere to smoke in years. But so I'm talking to him, and he actually says, well, ma'am, strike number one. The fuck are you talking to?
Right.
Your grandmother is not anywhere around here. Neither is your mother. Please do not call me ma'am. And I say that, and I joke about it, but I think it definitely takes, some people aback, like, well, shit, I'm being courteous. Don't call me miss. So yes, he says, well, ma'am, I don't know if you have the ability to handle this. Strike number two. Don't you dare. Don't you ever, discount my ability to smoke. Okay.
Yeah.
I started smoking late, but I dedicate myself to some good shit. And then he says, well, if you're really just a flower smoker, like what would be the point? It's not like you're ever going to go make the investment. Wax is pretty expensive. And I was like, you don't know. And strike number three, why are you checking my pockets and my bank account?
Yeah.
So roll that up, put it up. And he goes, dab it. Great. Give me a dab. Little smart ass. So I take a hit, and I'm taking a hit like it's, off a dab rig, like it's a bong.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, if you have had kids, you will know this as a mother. You can start to cough, and sometimes instead of letting the cough out, maybe your bladder's a little weak. And so you may just a little trickle of pee or whatnot. So I started feeling that, and I felt my eyes start to fill up with water. Not crying, but because I was trying to hold in the cough so much. Then I immediately felt the elevation start from like my toes going all the way up. So because I didn't want to cough in front of him and look like a bitch, I was like, I backed up to the nearest corner away from him that he was not within earshot, and I coughed, and I stood in this corner and I coughed for no less than 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I then had to find the latest bathroom or the nearest bathroom. And while I was there, I texted hubby and I said, I don't know how long I've been walking around, but I am fucking lit. And he's like, what did you do? And I was like, I took a dab. And he's like, oh, there you go with that. And so I'm walking around and wandering at this point because I was so high. And I kept, I would see food and I'm eating it. It's infused. So on top of the high, and I do remember that it was a mimosa. It was a mimosa strain. And something is telling me that it was alien lambs, but I don't think that's what it was. It's the other, there's a 710 brand, right?
Yeah, 710 Labs.
Yes. It was them.
Ooh, okay.
So it was right in the beginning. Like, if I probably Googled them right now, I'd probably find out when they were a winner of the Emerald Cup that year because they actually won.
Okay.
So shout out to them. Shout out to the young man who, was being he was being passive aggressive. I know was being a smart ass, but then also, was cool. So that's my experience with my very first app. Then after that, we started, visiting what I call farmers markets. We don't really have too many of them anymore in the city of trees.
Yeah.
I know. I miss Chapo. I miss you guys. What I heard, maybe you could be hearing this right now, but you may be, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to manifest it. But I heard that their farmers markets ended because they got snitched on and shut down. If somebody did, you're a bitch for snitching because they had the best farmers markets. I could get tacos from one of their moms. I could go get my everything, mushrooms,
everything.
Yeah. So
you can even make a friend.
Yeah, a few. Like they were like, you're part of the family. So they were an unofficial kind of sponsor of the podcast. If you just heard, hubby even made a little sound effect for him. But they were good. But we went to farmers markets and we used to go to if you guys know about and that's where I got my husband to take his first dab. And we were drinking we went in there and got a drink. The lean kind of drinks. We got that.
Yeah. Oh, I miss those.
Oh my gosh. So much.
Yeah. Like we get the drink and then go out so we had that sipping to go to the resort.
And walk around. And especially at one point you could go there for a couple hours.
Remember they would play movies and stuff.
Yes, go to room to room. I mean shit, we went to a birthday party for the owner's wife. And hella food and hella just different people that would be at the session. I mean, be at the farmers markets. I don't like to say sessions. Or a hot second before that. Yeah. But he felt comfortable. We're finally, I was like, babe, try this out. And then, do you remember the name of the guys we used to get from?
That one?
Yeah, the one we used to get the. Shout out to the cultivators being little bits of salesmen because they noticed that I was trying to get hubby to take one with me and they kind of talked him into it like, oh, you know what, you can spread, what do you smoke blunts? You don't have to dab. Like you don't have to take it out of a dab rig. You can smooth it on your blunt. And he was like, that's all you needed to say. And then he was hooked. So we had to find out what he liked and what he didn't like. And as someone that is a dabber, I definitely want to use your expertise at this point to kind of explain the difference between shatter, wax. Now we have diamonds, sugar.
Yeah, sugar.
Yeah. So what do you prefer?
Oh, I prefer rosin or diamonds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is rosin the dark one?
No, the rosins are like the lighter ones that almost look like kind of like putty. Yeah, they almost look like putty, but they're basically they're almost like they're like the ice water. So a lot of the times what they do is they do the ice water extract, and so they're just taking the hash and they're pressing it with heat, and the heat is essentially what's extracting it, and so you have a really clean extraction. So there's no butane, there's none of that in it, and it really
I promise you guys education every episode. Here you go, listen up. She explains it way better than I could.
They actually are able to conserve the most terpenes and I just feel like you get the best high, you get the best flavor. It's just all around the most amazing. But I would say
as it continues to elevate as it continues to go in its evolution process, I think we just knew about wax back in the day. And I'm sure the THC content was low. Probably there were a lot of people who were processing it kind of shitty. And we only had what was more of a health hazard as far as the processing of it back then. Now you have these innovators that, you have the ice, like you said, the ice bath and and things like that they're finding out ways to preserve more of the wellness and the great thing from the plant. So
I always liked the one that was really dark. I guess it wasn't the best way to make it, but it still got me the highest.
The hash?
Yeah.
Because I know hash is really dark.
It's like dark brown tar, like
it It was,
really like sticky.
yeah, it was just more of the wax, like the back, like I said,
Yeah.
you know, things last time it was big, you know, before the pandemic. This was before.
Yeah.
So, then after that, you know, we started going.
Static nails, the next generation of nail.
Yeah. So he liked more of the more of what was just considered wax.
Okay. Yes.
It,
just
you know,
concentrate.
Yeah. It was easy to spread on the, you know, on the swisher, or the show, you know, because we love shows now, to spread on there. Or when I did get a nectar collector, you could still hit it.
Yeah.
Although I think it definitely made the nectar collector, it made the quality of it a little lacking because you have to clean it out and shit like that. I broke a glass one, then I went over to the silicone one, and I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and get a regular rig. But I kind of want one that's electric.
Ooh, yeah.
But I keep hearing different things. What do you think? What do you like to utilize best? Just the traditional dab rig?
Yeah, honestly, like I am someone who is so clumsy. I've broken like probably 5 dab rigs, so I've now I stick with the silicone one. So I'm like,
okay,
I'm safe with it. I can travel with it too. So yeah, I'm just super old school, like silicone rig with a titanium nail. But now they're into like this banger, so they have like the quartz and all of that, which that's like really nice. But like, I don't know. To me, it's like it's a process because like you got to clean it with the alcohol. You got to Q-tip swab it. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't just after you clean it with alcohol, then go ahead and light it up.
No,
you guys don't know yet. It's not very healthy for you to go ahead and ingest, you know, the particles that would be left behind from the alcohol. So it is a process. I also feel that it's more of a fad within the industry.
I think it's like who has the biggest melt shot and who can make it look the prettiest type of thing.
Yeah. And then for people to go, oh, I have that. You know, it's everybody likes to be included. And I know that it was definitely a different part of the cannabis community at one point in time because people kind of like how vegetarians and vegans are, you know, people, I only dab. And it's like, oh my good Lord. We get it, you know, but because
that was me at one point.
And, you know, I was definitely the same way at some point. Like, oh my gosh, I only do this brand, you know, or
exactly.
You know, when I did vape, it was probably because it was a company that I represented, but I was like, only Dom Pen. I don't do anything else, you know. So we all tend to get, you know, a little snooty about what we do, but I think that now because the different sectors of the community they're starting to intersect. You know, there's definitely more people that are flower, but they also will dab. I will tell you that the community that I'm most surprised by is the older community that lives in Placerville.
Oh.
I do education at a dispensary there. Shout out to Chuck's Wellness. I love them. And a lot of the community there are a little older. You know, you want to think of the makeup of who lives in Placerville. Let me tell you, those older people fucking dab out there. Okay, they know about the concentrate. Oh,
that's crazy.
Okay? The first time that I realized it, I was like, what is it? And somebody that works there, she kind of made a joke. She goes, well, you got to realize it and look at it like this. They're the old meth heads and the old crankers. I was like,
yes, that's so true.
So,
they familiar with the torch.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, that's comfortable to them.
Yeah.
But it's really, really funny. I met a lady one day and we ended up talking and she kept trying to buy me like 2 grams of wax. She's like, no, just let me buy. And I said, no, what I do is because I'm passionate about it. And she's like, which car is yours? You know, because she thought I was trying to say it, you know, like I can't take it because of my work. And she goes, which car is yours? I'm going to buy it and I'm going to put it underneath your tire. I was like, no, I really, honestly, it's okay. You know, and I should have let her because she was buying some like $75.
No, you should have let her. Hell yeah.
Woo. I should have. My husband goes, don't you, what is wrong with you? You don't ever come down the street. But yeah, so I think that because there is a larger market of people that are becoming more educated and they do what they're familiar with. And like I said, that community is familiar with, you know, concentrate. So it's interesting to find out how brands have to pivot, you know, how, you know, cultivators of the product they have to change and they have to become more of a traditional business where you start having target audiences that you have to create your brands for. So
that's true.
That's part of what I love about being in this industry and being an entrepreneur and somebody who is have a brand development experience because I'm able to kind of see, you know, step back and see that. If anybody has been a long-term fan, mark my words. I said that the next 3 to 5 years, and this was 2 years ago, that edibles and drinks were going to become huge. And if you guys have been to a dispensary, okay, a good portion of their inventory is definitely focused. I mean, there's seltzers now. You know, I don't know who told Pabst Blue Ribbon to make one because nobody likes PBR regularly, but
thank you.
They have one. You know, I would recommend something like Tonic, Uncle Arnie's, Good Stuff brand, all because I do educate for them, so I know that they're good. But I would recommend more like that. I think people hear seltzers, and a lot of times they're like, I'm not a White Claw drinker, or, you know, and it's like, no, okay. It's along the same line, you know, but it's not that. It's a different way for people to receive, you know, their medication or to receive their elevation. A lot of those products can be microdosed as well. So I'm all for it. But I said that it was going to be a huge industry, and it is. And it's also providing a way for a lot of people that have been disenfranchised from, you know, weed for so long, Black and brown people. It's another way for us to get into the industry and become entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
So keep your eye out there. There's some really good brands coming out and lines that are coming out that are women owned, and they're owned by a woman of color. So I love that as well. But so I'll probably have you back on to even just dig into your expertise about dabbing some more. Yeah, I definitely want to introduce it to women that, you know, like you said, you got into it with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Most women, I think they will get into concentrates and waxes because of the man in their life. Yeah. You know, I don't see too many women going into the dispensary. Let's say they're going on a girls' weekend. They're like, let's get 3 grams of the shatter. And then let's, you know, it's usually edibles and maybe some pre-rolls. So, oh, hold on. Heard you now. All right, guys. And I waited. Look, I have the doobies broken up. So I'm gonna tell you guys now, if you guys don't keep a doobie jar, please start doing that, because in the times when this happens, and if you guys can see that's empty, you can go ahead and grab that doobie jar and bust some open, and it's not the best tasting, but it'll do the trick. So now I don't have to do that. So I'm sure you guys have been well into the spark and salutations. We're going to keep that going. So the, you know, we talked a little bit about what we like right now, what's going on. I'm going to show you guys the strains that I really love right now. I've talked about this brand before, Eighth Brothers. Look, guys, very, very, very economical. Okay. You can call it just weed. That's where it's starting to go. Like people go, just weed, middle shelf, you know, top. This is middle shelf. I'd say top tier of the middle shelf, but you can pay $10 per eighth, depending on which dispensary or delivery service you're getting from. Shit's fire. Okay. They have a really, really good strain called Honeydew. A good sativa. It's really good. Very, very good. So that's going to be the strain that I'm kind of smoking on right now that I really like. I also want to give a shout out to a new strain, a couple of new strains, but a new brand here in City of Trees. Sattva, Sattva. Please excuse me if I am not pronouncing that correctly, but it is a connoisseur grade indoor flower. Let me tell you how great it is to be in the industry. I was working a 420 event, and the gentleman was right next to me, who is the owner, thunder everything of this. He tested everything out. He came up with the strains. He's a cultivator as well. But he came over and introduced himself. And then I looked back later and I'm like, why is he underneath my table? Because he was taking like 5 grams. I'm just sliding them into my box. And he's like, try that out. I was like, I will.
Hell yeah.
And fire. So I will say the Sherb Scotty, which is a hybrid, fucking fire. I do know that he's at Dixon Wellness, which if you guys are familiar with the area, that's just right across the causeway. And I know a couple other I think he's at Aptane Wellness or Two Rivers. I'll put it in the show notes and let you guys know, or if you guys want to know more about it. But definitely follow him, follow the brand on social media. It's just at SATTVA Cannabis. Really fucking good, guys. And good price. Good price. Dixon Wellness can be a little bit like that. Sometimes I'm gonna go, what y'all selling? Like, is this like why is, let's say Dime Bag. Why is Dime Bag going for $35 an eighth? Some Dime Bag does, but that was the first brand that popped into mind. So no shade, Dime Bag. But this is a very, I think it's a good price for the quality that you get.
Yeah.
I was lit. And hubby, I had to hide the jars from him so that he didn't smoke them all before, we weren't smoking 420 high. Because you can't really do a review when you're 420 high. So I, tried to put it aside so that I could do my review properly. But great terps, guys. You can tell that there's a lot of care going into the cultivation of the flowers. So check them out. The other brand that I wanted to talk about is a brand new, it's coming out. They should start being in storefronts and available for you guys to purchase. I'd say by summer. I'm actually meeting with she's one of 3 owners, but she's the face of the brand, 22-year-old young woman who was on a soccer scholarship, got hurt. And when you're a college student and you get hurt and they don't see any need for you, guess what? Scholarship gone. So she was very injured on a lot of big pharma, a lot of pills, prescription pills, and was kind of depressed because her whole identity was soccer. If you're well enough to get a scholarship to college, that means you fucking played. And if you guys know Northern Cali, especially in the City of Trees, soccer's huge. And so she just kind of felt lost and was just kind of doing kind of bad, taking a lot of pills. Yeah. She's going to be a guest on one, tell her own story, but taking a lot of pills, drinking, just not living right. And was always told how bad cannabis was. And she went ahead on her own as a grown-ass adult as she should. And she started, looking into cannabis instead of big pharma. And she was the young lady that I was just talking about who says that she smokes about 10 grams a day.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, yeah, and she dabs. Little cute little thing. But she's coming out with a brand that they are going to be, and let me tell you now, no joke, not because I hit it off with her, but fucking great diamond infused pre-rolls that are going to be 1.5 grams, not the traditional 1.2,
okay,
not maybe the 1.3, and you're not going to be paying like 40 freaking bucks, very good pre-rolls. I stumbled upon this whole situation by going to one of the gentlemen's clubs a couple weeks ago here in City of Trees, and and she is starting this, and it's so good. She is the only one that tests her products. I told her, you have somebody else to do that, but I walked away from their 420 event with about 10 pre-rolls.
Wow.
And me and hubby killed that. Okay. Let me tell you, I just saw a container in my purse and I was getting so excited because I thought maybe I'd slip one in there and forgot about it. No, just left the container in there because they're very good containers. They also use bovedas.
Ooh.
Yes. You don't see that a lot anymore.
I was gonna say, you don't see that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder why. I know that packaging has gotten a little bit better, and I think some people are trying to, keep a budget. And so maybe they move that to the wayside, but hey, I love those. They are good. We have to keep remembering that cannabis is a plant. And so it always still continues to need, the airflow and, to be able to keep fresh. I know if you guys have ever opened weed and you can crumble it you don't need a grinder at all. It's not how the plant's supposed to be. If you bought your girl some roses and you walk by the roses and then, a leaf just fell off and crumbled, you will know that it's time to either hang those bad boys upside down and save them or throw that shit away. So same thing, it's a plant, it's a flower. You got to treat it that way. So I foresee that some brands will probably get back into it if there, is a cheaper version that they could go for, but it has to be the same quality. Then, I highly recommend to brands that you guys start looking and putting those back into your packages. Just a Mary Jane moment, just a thought, I'm, like I said, almost a genius. So, like I said, diamonds, you guys make sure that you keep an eye out for them. Super, super excited. I feel so grateful to have met Taylor, and I'll be telling you guys more about it as it continues to move along in their journey. And of course, she will be on a pussy power episode that's going to be coming up in the next couple of months as well. So shout out to what we're smoking on, how we smoke it, and the up and coming brands, especially ones that are women owned and created. I'm your biggest supporter, but it has to be a good product. So I cannot wait to yay the weed's here. Woo. All right, super duper. I'm gonna roll up there, and as I'm rolling up, we are going to talk about the more you know. You guys know I love to educate. My whole mission, my tagline is educate, eradicate, and elevate. And I want to give a special shout out to Forbes, the huge, the one that tells you that Kylie Jenner is way, way richer than the rest of us. Rihanna, way, way richer than we'll ever be. But the same, I want to say business publication or entity that kind of keeps its eye on business and stuff like that. But they always put out their top earners, based on the industry. Maybe they say tech, maybe they say electronics, they may do in, the world of Hollywood. But for the very first time ever on 4/20, they released their very first and prestigious as well, cannabis list, 42 best entrepreneurs building the industry and the best cannabis brands. So I think that's awesome. Shout out to them. All kind of snaps. And what I love about it, we've been talking for a while already. I don't want to have you guys listening in. Well, probably listen in pieces anyway because I talk a lot. But the hubby is putting the visual on the screen now. So when you guys watch the video, you'll be able to see it. It's a gentleman that kind of introducing why they decided to do this list. And I want to say this is a very huge win. Because once the industry starts to be normalized as a business sector and as something that adds to the economy in this country, that's when it will be normalized enough.
Yeah.
That's when you'll stop having pushback. That's when the government will probably jump on board, even though they've known for centuries, since they're the ones that lied about it, that it's a great thing. Yeah. There are a good amount of equity type of brands, businesses, and entrepreneurs, and very diverse within the people of color. So I do want to shout them out. Forbes, I think this is an awesome thing. I think you're setting the standards for other publications and entities like yourself to start recognizing the entrepreneurs that are really changing wellness, the quality of lives of others, and more importantly, like I said, a bit ago, allowing us to take control of our health. And this is just the first kind of steps that we need. So shout out to Forbes. You guys definitely check that out. We will have the link to it in the show notes, but ask Auntie Google. Just say Forbes cannabis list and it'll pop right up. So yeah, shout out to them. So moving on, I'm trying to make sure that we stay streamlined here. I'm not reading some of the notes and things that I put down for some of this, but our next segment is going to be our Say Aloud for the people in the back. So this is where you're going to get to promote yourself, talk about something that's going on great within either your cannabis-based lifestyle, whether that be your business-wise, whether it be personally, whether it's something that you heard from somebody else. Maybe you went to Soul Bloom this weekend. We had a great concert here. My girl Janae Aoka was here. All I wanted to do was hear her sing "I'm Trying to Smoke." Maybe you got your nails done and you like the color. I don't care what it is, but this is going to be your time to just go ahead and shout it out, say it louder for the people in the back. And once our guest co-host has shared hers, I do have a very special announcement for you guys. But my guest co-host has the floor now. Go right ahead, share a little something. Say it loud for the people in the back.
Thank you. I would say I just started my YouTube channel, so that's something that I've been working on, but I'm just kind of trying to promote myself that way, and it's going to be like all graffiti based. So I made an intro video already, but yeah, it's just kind of like fun testing out products, like unboxings, behind the scenes.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be super fun.
Well, you definitely let me know so I can subscribe and follow, and I will share that as well.
Thank you.
And, I have some resources to help you out. I do everything on my own. So you're creating videos or you're creating content, use Canva. Okay.
Yeah.
Create your own logos and you can do everything for a YouTube channel. You can create thumbnails, you can create your
Yeah.
logo. I'm actually your content that I asked you for the picture for. Opening my Canva
Oh,
right now. I'm almost done with
yeah.
that. So, it's a great platform, and then you can collaborate. So being that I'm on there, we
Okay.
can share stuff, we can collaborate, we can be part of each other's
Oh,
teams and things
that's
like
so
that.
cool.
Yeah. So Canva's good. And because you will be a content creator,
Yeah.
you can grab the YouTuber title, but
Yeah.
content creator. There's other platforms that can help you to expand your audience and things like that as
Oh,
well.
okay.
How to use the analytics from YouTube as well. So
Yeah.
I know a little bit, but I'll ask hubby to, share some of the tidbits and things like that so that you can start to understand, what you
Yeah.
need to do.
Thank you.
But congratulations on that. So you guys be aware, be on point. And, if you forget, hit me up. Be like, what was her YouTube channel? I've been looking. I can't find it. Sacramento Gang Archives. Shout out to one of my favorite content creators. He keeps coming up because he's on fire. No, if you guys don't know about SGA, Sacramento Gang Archives, please go like, subscribe, follow on all platforms, but especially his YouTube channel. Shout out to him. I'm gonna have to send him this little link. He's like, whenever you talk about me, send me the link. So the announcement that I have for you guys is those of you that have gone through this journey of being the Mary J. Maven with me, going from just being an educator to wanting to help women of color, to wanting to help women, along their journeys of discovering, defining, and determining their passion and purpose. My journey has changed. I've been blessed with the universe going, all right, girl, you realize now you don't have control. We're working together. This is the shit that I have planned for you. I will tell you guys, when you let go, when you let the control go, and when you let, you get in this mindset of thinking, it's my life. I know me best. I know what's best. You don't. There are always signs from the universe out there that are telling you and pointing you in the direction of what your passion and your purpose is. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Everything that we are to be is already predetermined. We are, little pieces of energy that make up this entire universe, and we all have a purpose. And so my journey has evolved and it continues to evolve. And one of the goals that I set for myself was collaboration with other podcasts. But from that, having the opportunity to start doing collaborations has led me into being a featured and expert speaker. I started with the Women in Cannabis Expo in September of last year, which I will be speaking at 2 dates later this year. But it's also led me into being noticed as being a featured expert. And I have been added and invited to be a panelist and a featured expert at this year's G4 Live Expo and Bud Tender Awards that are taking place in Sin City in Las Vegas, May 12th through the 15th.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm very, very proud because I am actually going to be on a panel with Roz McCarthy, and she's just one example, but women that they don't know it, but they have been an inspiration and a resource for me ever since I started on this journey of creating my brand and becoming the Mary Jane Maven. So I'm super, super excited. I'm going to try not to cry when I meet some of them, but I'm very excited that I'm going to be within good company. I am definitely going to smoke with Snoop because he is DJing. That's what hubby was waiting on. I speak things into existence. So, Auntie Snoop, be ready for me. He is DJing along with Travis Barker. They're having a huge after party and event on the 14th. And so I will be getting as close as I can. I have pretty good luck. Met Eminem twice. Took shots with Elon Musk. I don't know. Sometimes it just happens. So I'm going to be prepared. I may actually take a backwood because he looks like he's a backwood smoker.
Yeah.
So I may take a couple of those pre-rolls and, wave it at him or get his attention. But like I said, if you guys happen to have plans to be in Vegas, come on out. G4 Live Expo. I believe they do still have expo tickets available. Yeah, you're gonna see me out and about. My very first time going to Vegas without the hubby. No, where did I go before without you? Oh, I lied. You're right. But I wasn't really without you because you ended up showing up 2 hours later.
Allegedly, it was not 2 hours, but okay.
So that's right. I flew into Vegas at like 6 o'clock in the morning by myself. He was there by like 1:30 in the morning because he drove out. So, but only third time in our 20-year relationship that I am traveling and will be without him. So I'm a little like, because that's my best friend.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you guys see me out and about, if you're gonna be there, hit your girl up. You know, I like mostly everybody, so you'll probably get a reply. Yes, so I'm very, very, very proud of that accomplishment. You will see more, and that is my goal for the rest of the year is to continue creating content, educating, and being that featured expert speaker, all about the plant that I love. You know that power flower, which is sativa. So I said it loud. I could say it louder for the people in the back, but I've been told that I can floss a little bit. I'm an Aries. That's what we do. Toot your own horn so then everybody else can join you and start tooting it with you. So bars right there. I could say it a little differently. I should drop that off to my homie Drake so he can switch that up or my friend Jeezy and see if they can make that poetry. I can't see hubby's eyes, but I'm sure he's rolling his eyes. So next segment, guys, we're getting into. You guys know some of the things that I love other than my hubby.
I
and
was
my
actually trying to
friends.
find this.
Oh, yeah. You guys know he teases me because he says that I'm not friends with G-Eazy and Jason Lee. I can show you on my phone right now the text messages. I get text messages, okay, from them. Just got one from Jeezy talking about his NFT.
Ooh.
Now it is through, apps like Community and things like that where it allows you to reach out to your fans. However, I get the text messages to my phone, so therefore they are texting me. So once again, you believe it comes true. Yeah, he's just his finger's just on the button. He has so much to say. So next thing that we're gonna talk about, as I was just talking about Drake, this week's Music and Mary Jane. You guys know I love music as my boyfriend. I got to give shout outs because the album that I will probably be playing hardcore throughout the summer dropped this week. You guys know how I feel about Future. He only makes good songs when he's doing them with Drake or when he's doing la di da di da stop. I love those 8 bars. It is a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of nonsense, but it is one of the best bars ever. I'm not going to take it as far as whoever just wrote or did the think piece that said that Future is the best rapper alive. No, let's not go there. I don't know if he paid you or what, but I will be the first to admit that Future's latest album that he just released called I Never Liked You, love. The passive aggressive, petty, eerie side of me loves that. It just came out. I actually listened to it in its entirety. I think I almost skipped one song until I was like, you know what? He's trying to sing a little bit here. He's trying to get his Jodeci on a little bit. And it was a good track. Not surprisingly, you guys should know that my favorite tracks on the album, it's because my boy Champagne Poppy, he's on there. Mr. Drake, Aubrey Graham. The best one is I'm on One, which I've been seeing people talk about on Twitter like for the last week. I see why people hate on Drake. He would make you feel like an asshole if you get offended by the shit that he says. I love it. His verse is just crazy. It's fire. So my recommendation for, the Music and Mary Jane for this episode is go and download it. We can all download shit for free. YouTube Music, you can download it, all that good stuff. Give it a listen. Give it a good, thorough listen. So this week's Music and Mary Jane choice and one that you should smoke to, I'm on One. Future featuring I should say Drake featuring his co-collaborator on his own album, Future. So you've had some time to think about it because I told you this beforehand. But what is your favorite song right now? Your slap or like that song you always want to, put on when you're medicating or let's go ahead and drop that. What do you listen to? What's your music and Mary Jane moment?
For some reason I really love it's this song by Jay Stalin and Young Doe. So they're from the Bay Area from Oakland. But
I know.
okay, yeah.
Say, look at you.
Okay, yeah. But Friday night, like that, it's just such a like funky, fun vibe. And every single time I play that song and I'm smoking, it just gets me like in a happy mood, no matter what.
All right, so I'm putting it on my playlist right now.
Yes.
I'm the type of person that I get up on Tuesdays and based on I cannot listen to the artist, but I check out all the new releases and everything. So, shout out to my nephew who is in Boston somewhere somehow, who got with the thick. Well, never mind. So good. The old me would have said what I was gonna say, but I'll just give him a shout out because he was so surprised that I have family from Pittsburgh. My husband is from the rich. I'm a Bay Area girl deep down.
Yeah.
Deep down, but that I never listened to Jay Stalin, that I never listened to
okay.
Who's your cousin? Who's your cousin? I forgot. Okay, it's like anyway, that I never listened to Bay Area music,
like the Bay rap,
E40, either the E40 Too Short.
Not my cousin, but Jacka and stuff like that.
Mac Dre and all that.
Yeah, and the other one.
I know you're talking about my cousin. I'm just saying I don't remember his rap name right now.
Gotcha. So, which lets you know how big of fans we are. No,
well, he doesn't rap like that.
No, he doesn't. Not anymore. What was what? Yeah. Was it Yellow Bus? No, that wasn't the song he was on. He was on one song that I was like, oh shit, I forgot about the song. It was cracking back in the day. Anywho, so I'm definitely adding that. Bay Area songs that get me in the mood like that. I mean, any E40. And come like any E40.
Yeah.
Especially the album with Guys, I'm drawing a blank because we've like completely kicked it for hubby's birthday for almost a week straight now. What is the freaking song? Woke up in the AM, posted on my plate. You know what I'm talking about.
There's a big on my shoulder?
No. Nope. Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. It's from his album that came out. I don't want to date myself, but maybe or maybe not. I was in high school and I was driving.
Whose album?
E40.
I don't know. That's that first album. I didn't listen to it.
Yeah,
I was still in diapers when that album came out and you were listening to that.
Shut up. Sideways.
I'm mind sideways, this way, that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was on that album. I was gonna say
on the one with the white cover, right?
The one with the watch, the Rolex.
Yeah, white cover. I got you.
In a major way. Oh my god, I don't know how I did not remember that. That makes me. And then of course, like let's smoke a blunt, let's shit like that. That talks about smoke. But I told you guys I was gonna give you a little peek into what we're about to smoke, which is gonna be our banana cream. I mean, nothing else since we've been talking about bananas for half of the episode. And this is Monterey Kush Company. I think I did forget that part. And fire, guys. So this is what I'm about to roll up here. So I want people to realize and I've already talked about it, but do your research on how music and the elevation, the high of cannabis, how it actually goes together, and the wellness that it actually does for your lymphatic system, for your immune system, for your whole central nervous system, and the benefit that it actually does for your brain as well. We watch a lot of useless shit, and we're definitely probably killing off some brain cells with some of the stuff that we're taking in. But music can help to actually kind of like revitalize those. So,
and shout out to my cousin Kafani.
There we go.
Okay.
Shout out. So, are you from the Bay or just from?
Yeah, I'm from the Bay Area originally. I'm from East Bay. Yeah, so I'm from San Lorenzo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, so you know about Pittsburgh and
exactly.
Okay. Yeah. My family moved me out to Elk Grove when I was like 9.
Oh,
so
okay.
I say I grew up in Elk Grove. I mean, I went to school mostly.
Yeah.
I sing Garth Brooks to this day because of it. So yeah, but are you finding, I know when my husband moved out here after college, he ended up like we were someplace and he goes, I know them. I go, babe, no, you didn't. You didn't go to school out here. But of course, we've known there's been a huge exodus of people leaving
Yeah.
the Bay. Expensive coming here.
Yeah.
Have you been somewhere and been like, oh shit, I went to elementary school with them, or seen a lot of people that you knew come back home?
No, surprisingly
Okay.
not. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're staying low. They're staying low.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, shout out to the Bay. We know we love you. We know. You guys are the backbone of almost everything, all
Exactly.
culture. So we are gonna move on. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm staying on topic here, guys. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to a little bit of staying sane with Mary Jane topic. And I want to give you guys a little education. So we're gonna have a word or the term of this episode. Okay, it's going to be consent. CONSENT. I was gonna be a real smart ass and be like, its origin is from. I'm not gonna do that. So I am gonna give you guys a definition because I feel that since the pandemic and even quite before that, people have become very emboldened to speak out the side of their fucking necks, to not have any compassion,
Yeah.
to ask people to whoop their ass, basically. What a
Mhm.
lot of people have done. They do this by acting like we've never been told what consent is. I think we definitely know of it more of the sexual related term now, especially because of the Me Too movement and things like that. But consent can be something that goes across all forms of your life. So the actual definition is consent is the agreement of, is the agreement or permission expressed through affirmative voluntary words or actions that are mutually understandable to all parties involved. Right? Not just you, not just one party, all. The reason why I'm talking about this is because over the past couple of weeks, hubby and I have been tested. I'm gonna take a page out of the Bad Girls Club. They were really trying to get me out of my character, trying to take me out of my character, which nobody else can really do. But shout out to good old TV,
I
Natalie
love that
Nunn
show.
and the girl. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Natalie's my girl, and I love me some Natalie now. But people have just been testing the waters and don't do it with us. Actually, it's probably good and better for them that they have because we are the type of people that will just tell you what we need to tell you and it's going to go from there. You might come across the wrong person that does not have the control, the couth, the upbringing, the understanding that common sense is not common to everybody and that you're an idiot, but somebody who might hand you that good old ass whooping that you're so asking for. We've had two just prevalent and memorable things happen in the past couple of weeks where, like I said, they're almost trying to take us out of our character. When hubby and I first got together, he was the one that short little fuse. Now he's
Allegedly.
become the much more patient. I'm the one that will cuss you up, down, all the way around, say some things that your dead great grandmother will feel. Don't. I'm the sweetest person, but then and I use my words, okay? But it was to the point where I had to step back and make sure that I was keeping my composure because he was about to hand out some ass whoopings. I will just say, guys, something that I talked about heavily during the pandemic, I see it as being a residual effect, I think, of the pandemic. We just got to have common respect for each other. Those little things that you learned in preschool that like Sesame Street used to teach us, or for, kids that are a little bit, older or younger than that, Blue's Clues, what you learn from Caillou, whatever,
Yeah.
whichever form of early education that you receive, it will always be nice. Treat others as you want to be treated. Have compassion, have,
Human kindness.
understanding, human
Yeah.
kindness. Oh my God. Simple thing.
Mhm.
There's a term for it because it's supposed to be something that's natural and innate in us. And there is becoming just a huge influx of people trying to eradicate the word and the action and everything that's related to it. I will just say, take a moment, guys, to really think about there's a lot of people out there that are still struggling, that are going through bad times, that maybe they have not paid attention to their mental health. And you may be that little trigger. that gets your ass whooped, or, you know, that person maybe gets away or whatever may be, but leave the privilege behind, please. And just take a second to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Personal space is a thing. Um, you know, being an adult and not mocking people, being accountable.
Saying excuse me works wonders.
Yeah,
Works
manners.
wonders. Yeah, saying thank you when someone holds open the door for you. I do not have on a fucking little cute hat. I'm not a bells, you know, a bellhops or anything like that. So I just have to say that if it was not for Mary Jane, I probably would have had to cancel this, being like, girl, unless you about to put on my books, I'm gonna have to cancel because I whooped somebody's ass this weekend and I'm now in the county. Let's not forget, totally kidding. Let's not manifest that. But do you ever have a time where you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna go and roll up that backwood, or let me warm this up and get this, you know, this wax ready because the world is trying it. Like they want me to, you know, lose my mind. But because of the beautiful plants, that saves their ass and saves your sanity. Do you ever have a moment like that?
Oh yeah, like every day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like every day I would say.
Yeah. And do you have kids, right?
No, I
You have
don't.
one kid?
I mean, I have my dog. I consider my dog my kid. She's my daughter.
There you go. There you go. There you go. But I was gonna say, especially for a mama, I think for any parent, like fuck with somebody's kids, and you're
Yeah.
gonna get that. Like that's something else that can trigger you. And you know, there's some people that should not be teachers and things like that. So you may be triggered that way.
Yeah.
So sorry, I gotta like switch up my position here. So that was, you know, something I had to share. I mean, it wasn't on the outline, but I immediately thought of it. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy. So I have to, you know, point that out to you guys. Now we're gonna get into some other bullshit, and then we're gonna get into letting our guest co-host share her story, so that inspiration, that motivation can get started there, get peppered into you. But I can't leave out this pop canna culture, you know, the pop culture kind of information. I want you guys right now to go, well, after you're listening, go into your YouTube, find the YouTube channel that's called Karen Attacks. And I see why, and because they are Karens and Kens, the ones that get mad, but I see why some of our less melanated, you know, other members of society, why they get so mad at being called the Karen now. It's not a cool thing, right?
No,
If that
it's
was my name,
insulting.
look, I'm going by my middle name. I'm gonna abbreviate that bad boy, something. But there's a couple of channels that actually put a compilation together of all the bullshit.
It's funny. I watch those, I'll admit it.
Look, so like I was telling you before, the theme of this segment is, you know, that's what you get. And if you did not whoop your kid's ass, you should, because when you don't, it manifests into this situation, to Kens and Karens.
It does.
It manifests into people not having any boundaries and not knowing what consent is. So I think that something should happen. I'm not saying that you should be able to whoop somebody's ass where they're really, really hurt, but give them that good, like, high school ass whooping, you know, when you got in a fight in high school, or, you know, something like that. When people try you, especially when it's a Karen situation, okay, we should just be able to get a switch, get a belt, and just put them over our knee and just whoop their ass. Whoop some common sense into them, okay? Because if you guys don't know, common sense isn't common to everybody. And so I had to share this because this is one of those good old, good from the gut laughs that I got today. I mean, tears coming out, my jaws are hurting. So there was recently a Ken, which is a male version of a Karen. I don't like to call, I hate when they're like, it goes both ways. But a Ken who was on an airplane ride, he was a passenger. More than likely, he wasn't sober. And he was causing such a fucking ruckus on this plane that they taped him to his seat, then taped his mouth shut. I mean, and not just put it here, wrapped it around the headrest all the way around to get him to be quiet. I cannot tell you how the black, and it was so funny because he was surrounded by black people. I cannot tell you how many of them had their phones out, laughing like they were at a comedy show, laughing, and then egging him on because it was just so fucking funny. That is are you serious? Like, you're a grown-ass person. You should never
Yeah,
get that fucked up where you get taped.
exactly.
That means the flight attendant had to go find the tape
Mm-hmm.
and then put it on you. And, at least he didn't get knocked out or punched by Mike
Yeah.
Tyson like the other guy did. And that's so crazy. Do you know that Mike Tyson actually gave that dude some shrooms? Like
No.
before yes, like
What?
I guess, yeah. Now, if I was that drunk getting on an airplane, I wouldn't be on the airplane.
No.
Okay, they would set my ass down or send me home.
I mean, he also told him like leave me alone hella times too.
Hella times.
Oh, okay.
But he had given him mushrooms, I want to say, in the terminal.
Oh,
So he
okay.
probably was
Okay.
acting up a bit before they got on. And then gave him a little bit more. Okay, so he must have given him 2 doses.
Oh
I
my
saw
God.
one video showed him like kind of, putting in his hand like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And that still didn't calm him down. That probably mixed with whatever else the fuck he was on took him over.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Fun-
probably just tripping. Yeah.
Yeah. Fungai's a wonderful plant when you can control
Yeah.
other things,
The environment needs to be
Fungai's
right.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That part too. Fungi is great with another plant, cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even better when you're camping. Let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you become one with nature.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's another example of like, man, slow your roll. Okay.
Yeah.
Take several seats as well. But the second thing I've talked about Skeet and Kim and this whole what I think is fabricated relationship. I've been talking so long already. We're already an hour and a half, so I am gonna skip over that, but I'll come back and I'll give you guys a little content on it. You know how I feel. I like Pete Davidson, but now I call him Skeet because I'm Team Kanye. I don't like him. Okay. And he's in a movie with Machine Gun Kelly, which I
Oh my
probably would have seen.
God.
Oh my God, I can't stand him.
I can't stand him
Oh
either.
my God.
Thank you. I can't stand him.
And this is the movie that him and Megan Fox met on.
Yeah.
So she's in this movie too.
Yeah.
First of all.
And I used to like Megan Fox a lot too.
I did too.
Yeah.
Especially because she was with my teen crush, David Silver. I know his name is Brian Austin Green, but I still call him David Silver. And I just didn't like how she flaunted and very clearly cheated on her marriage because
Yeah.
you guys didn't go on remote together, to film this movie for 3 months, and then all of a sudden you realize that you were fucking all over that movie set.
Yeah.
Just like Angelina and Brad. But I digress. See, I started talking about it. I said I'm not gonna talk about it, but I can't stand Machine Gun Kelly. Now Skeet's in a movie with him, so I will not be seeing that. And I also don't like that they hang out together.
No.
Kim, sit your old ass down. Why are you hanging out with Megan Fox is kind of old too, but why are you hanging out with Skeet, fucking Travis Barker,
Yeah.
Courtney, who I hope she's somewhat more likable now that she's getting regular dick because she is not a fun Kardashian.
No.
Yeah, that's just not a group of people that I would expect to see out on a date. And if so, can you imagine sitting next to them in like Nobu or another fancy restaurant in LA, and you have 3 grown-ass women
Like
who are
making
dressed
out.
and design. Yeah. And then across the table from them, it looks like they're, pubescent freaking prom dates or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that's enough. That's not even the topic, but I was going to talk about that before, but I want to tell him, stay in your role, slow your roll, take several seats before Kanye whoops your ass. I will say that. But so now I know you guys have been like, oh, what is this episode about? I definitely, like I said in my intro, we have somebody here on this podcast and somebody that you guys are being introduced to that you're going to be very grateful that you found out about, that you are going to be part of her journey in growth. And as she just mentioned, she has her new YouTube channel. And she's definitely somebody that you guys want to check for. If you see she's going to be doing a local event, go out and support. I told my son to find the drawing that you gifted. She was so nice to give this to my son. And he's like, I'll get it for you, but he's had a headache all day and he's 11, so that should wrap it up for you. I'm still waiting for him to find it because I did want to share it, but I'll take a picture of it and have it on the website and stuff. But I definitely want to have you talk about, your journey.
Yeah.
But how I'll make it very simple is tell me your why. How are you here today? You were born, you're here today, feeling everything else between. So go ahead and share with us. Tell us about your journey and how you became a guest co-host on Menage.
I would say, well, my journey is through cannabis. I had met you, through this beautiful, wonderful event. But yeah, basically, I would say, kind of just starting out like my life. I grew up in a pretty abusive family. My mom and dad are narcissistic. So I don't know, I've just faced every form of abuse, let's just say. So that was a pretty lonely life. And so I was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And just, I don't know, like as a teenager, I was having a lot of symptoms of like anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts and stuff. And so, just people were smoking weed and stuff, my friends. And so I was like, hey, I really want to try that. Like, I'm really interested because, I'd done research. It seems like it was going to help with with some medical issues. So pretty much the first time I tried smoking, I was 13 years old and I was with some friends and I actually like didn't get high. So my first time that I smoked, I was like, I really didn't feel anything. And then after that, yeah, it was more like social. It was smoking with friends socially. But then I was actually like buying my own and then smoking at my house every day before school. I was noticing that it was just helping me to be able to like cope with like sitting down and just my ADD. Just exactly. Like literally just to function and stuff. And
I will give it to you this. I mean, I'm going to let you finish and get on with the story, but I definitely like to point out times when people take obstacles and turn them into, just small little, hurdles that they had to, overcome to be able to become the person that they're meant to be.
Yeah.
And so I want to congratulate you because, it becomes when you're older and you're an adult and you have your own kids, or even before that you realize, well, parents are just people.
Yeah.
They're doing the best that they can and they have their own shit to deal with.
Yeah.
But once you can understand that and then not be like, woe is me, I had such a rough life.
Yeah.
But leave that shit in the, in the past where it needs to be, but allow it to be a motivation for you. I think that's when you live a much better life and you have a much better understanding. So, this is an example of a time where cannabis was part of your therapeutic treatment.
Yeah.
Wasn't where you went to an office and met with somebody.
No.
But
Yeah.
you were accountable and you were aware enough to know you needed to fix some things. Like not everything was right.
Yeah.
You needed to feel normal. So
Yeah.
I definitely want to give you a huge shout out and all kind of snaps for that.
Thank you.
And like I said, for those of you out there that feel like there is no answer and there's nobody that listens and nobody understands you, first little bit of a little nugget there that that there are ways out of it.
Yeah.
And that there are people that have been there before you. So
Mhm.
so I just want to say that. So you started more socially and I like you said, you started medicating your own because
Yeah.
you started realizing how it made you more functional.
Exactly.
And okay. So go ahead from there. So
Yeah.
you moved on, became a
Yeah.
later teen into early adulthood.
Yeah. And then I just honestly like struggled so much. And I would say when I finally kind of like got down, how to be able to smoke and function and stuff, that's when I started, being able to use it more of like the creative aspect. And so I was able to like, okay, now I can actually sit down and smoke and like, do a drawing or actually like do a painting and stuff like that. And so I was just kind of doing that more so like here and there, even though like I've always been an artist my whole life. So like literally, since I could even hold like a crayon as far back as I can remember, I've always been making artwork. And
if you look back on it now, do you think that that was your way of coping with your upbringing and, and tapping into the fact that like, okay, I may have all this going on. There may be all this, the static and the ruckus that's going on within my life, but this is where I feel best. I mean, for me, like I used to write, I was a singer.
Yeah.
I mean, I would sit down and write like a 1-paragraph story and then I'm like 40 pages in, so to me, that's when I felt like I was truly myself and most comfortable with, so like you said, from when you're able to, hold that crayon and start coloring within the lines, which I still don't do very well, but you utilize that as I don't want to say an escape, but also another form of therapy.
Yeah.
So cannabis, as I've said, cannabis and creativity, that's a good connection. Like, and I like that you said once you learned how to actually medicate and use, cannabis. Because
Yeah.
of course back in the day, you used to smoke. I used to
Exactly.
smoke.
Yeah.
I remember
Just
being in
smoke to get
college
high.
and
Yeah.
exactly, exactly what it was. I didn't care what it was wrapped in. We
Yeah.
were talking the other day about smoking, what was it, Optimos that we used to smoke hella much back in the day, and we were like,
Optimals, I didn't like it.
yeah, Garcia
Oh,
Vegas
Garcia
and shit
Vegas.
like
Yeah.
oh, my lungs hurt just saying that. Okay. But I didn't care where it was from, who had it, you just did it look like weed?
Yeah.
Sure. Probably early in my journey of becoming a weed smoker, somebody probably could have given me some oregano and I wouldn't have known any better. But
Yeah.
so I do like that you pointed that out. It's something that you can do earlier, in your journey with cannabis.
Yeah.
Start to find out how it best how it could best be utilized for
Yeah.
you. I highly recommend keeping a weed journal. People think that's so weird, but
Yeah.
pick your phone up and talk about how that banana cream strain helped you,
Yeah.
or did you get hella dumb munchies off of this one? And
Yeah.
no, you're trying to get your summer body on, and so it's like, well, let me stay away from this one, or I won't.
Yeah.
So that's really good that you were able to identify that. And would you say that cannabis helped you to determine and discover really what your not only talent, but what your passion is and
Oh,
your purpose?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Because I would say, and it really wasn't even until like recently, to be honest, which
Mhm.
is so crazy. So, I had ended up becoming an alcoholic, so my own doing, just due to the symptoms of the PTSD. And so I had not realized it at that time. And then once I had actually taken some mushrooms, and that was when I had, my whole trip, and I really
Yeah.
realized that what I was masking up with alcohol. So it showed me what I was hiding. And
Mhm.
because I had kind of just quit cold turkey that day, I said, you know what, fuck it. I said, let's just, keep going. So I I didn't do any research. And so it was kind of like a stupid move, but yeah, I did quit cold turkey. And with the alcoholism, I had such severe withdrawals. And the only thing that saved me was cannabis. Like
All that can. Yeah.
I would be dead. I swear, if I didn't have cannabis, I would be dead, and I wouldn't even be talking to you right now. But
Yeah.
it was mostly, just like dabbing to help with the symptoms, and then I was taking CBD products, so like a CBD honey, just smoking CBD,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I mean, it got me through it. Like it really seriously did. It was painful and rough, but like slowly but surely, I started to notice that the cannabis was actually repairing my body on the inside, and so it was like
yeah.
I slowly was able to eat more. I slowly was able to just not feel so immensely sick on a daily basis. Yeah.
Overall, I'm sure your skin improves,
Oh yeah.
your hair, your nails. I mean, you don't think about it,
Everything. Yeah.
And when you drink, like when you first turn 21, you're going to the club, blah, blah, blah. If it's in short bursts, then your body can
Yeah.
repair and you don't see
Exactly.
the effects of it. But if you don't mind me asking, and like I said before, you don't have to answer, what was your drink? If it's not too hard for you to talk about, like
Yeah.
what was something
Not at
that
all.
you were like, hey, me, Tito's. If I'm really trying to get fucked up,
Yeah.
give me those Tito's, like Tito's. And how much would you say were you drinking at like your lowest point?
Yeah. So my drink of choice was Sailor Jerry's, which is so
Woo!
funny because literally I only
Ooh.
drank it because I want to be a tattoo artist. So that was kind of the whole cliche of like, oh my
Nice.
God,
Yeah.
he's a tattoo artist,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna drink this,
It's a sign. It's what
Yeah,
I
it's
should
a
be
sign.
drinking.
Yeah. So but I was actually at a bottle a day, unfortunately, at my lowest. Yeah.
Wow. And I know I was like in what's it called, Intervention. Like I love that show so
Yes, me
much.
too. Yes.
Loved it because I was always
Mhm.
you watch the first 10 minutes of it and you're like, God damn, this person's drinking Listerine. Like, but
Yeah.
they're very they're
Mhm.
functioning alcoholics.
Yeah.
But my thing is because I love human psychology, I'm always waiting for like get to the story and get to
Yeah.
the part where this is why they are now
Like
the
this
way
is
that they are.
why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I know that they had canceled it some time back, but I think because of the pandemic and around that time, somebody was like, "Oh no, this would be the worst time for you guys to go off the air." Like,
Yeah.
there's
No, they brought
more
it back.
people. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know, like I was saying, when you see that, you kind of think of like, how does somebody do a bottle? But if you're getting up in the morning, going to buy that bottle,
Mm.
doing this throughout the day or whatever. I mean, I definitely used to work at call centers and I had a water bottle full of alcohol.
Yeah.
So you can still be, like I said, very functioning and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm sure that when you decided to quit, like there's always those dramatic scenes in movies when people are an alcoholic and they quit and they look at like all the empty bottles. or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it? Did you have that kind of moment
Oh,
of
yeah.
clarity? Yeah. Yeah.
Because I used to hide them under my bed because I didn't want my parents to see. And so what I would do is, I would just shove the empty bottles under there. And so one day I'd kind of forgotten about it, and I had like looked, and I was like, oh fuck, like I was like, I have a problem, like, or I really did, because like at that point, I had quit, but it was just like, wow,
who
like,
put these bottles under here? What
right, yeah.
What
What is this?
Yeah. And then the financial investment. I mean, it's not cheap. I mean, right now, like I said, you can get some really good eighths of weed for $10. Make your money last. Not really when you are purchasing a almost $20 bottle per day.
Per day, yeah. It's per day.
Yeah. So, and like you said, you're living with parents still, so it's not like you just had this endless amount of money. But you can attest to when you're sick like that, or when you have an illness like that, that's all that you think about, and you will do anything that you can to meet that.
Like I was working 2 jobs just so that I could afford to like have money for my wax, my alcohol, like whatever I want. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like you end up working to just support that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being so candid and sharing, especially withdrawals. Like,
absolutely.
That is a serious thing. And most people would go ahead and go back to drinking because, hair of the dog, but I like how even without research, you kind of double-ended, that withdrawal and the process of weaning yourself, because you should utilize both the psychoactive aspect of it and the wellness aspect of it with the CBD. So I like that you kind of bookended, that, and you did that without research. And now there's so much more, available information. So, what would you say to someone, because you are my third guest, and all women, and because we're very smart and we, nurturing people, even when we're doing harm to ourselves, we know better in the back of our mind. But you and the other guest, I know that there was the other guest, they had like a major thing, like a health issue. Somebody got killed in a car accident. The other person almost OD'd. Other than you just kind of realizing it and have that realization, was there one time that you can remember that was kind of like the catalyst where you were like, all right, this isn't cool anymore. Like I've got to do something else.
Yeah, I would probably say my boyfriend and I had broken up because it was just like a really bad time in our relationship and everything. So I had actually been like dating another guy that I had worked with like at my job. And so, but me and my ex were still communicating during that time. And I remember he had come to meet me to come like either give me something, or it was something that he had to meet me for. And he had seen me and he had saw like in person, I just looked awful. Like I had this infection on my face from the alcohol, my stomach, like I just looked really bad. And so he had told me, he's like, oh my God, he's like, what's wrong with your face? And I took so much offense to it. Like, I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, fuck you. Yeah. And like at that time, I didn't really think of it as him just kind of being like, whoa, like I've known you for so many years. Like this is so like something's going on. And
I mean, you're really poisoning your brain. I mean, if you do hardcore drugs or even when you drink alcohol, it's very funny. Look, not a lot of us know a lot of crackheads or meth heads or whatever. But do not tell me those that have or know, they look like fucking hell, but in their mind, they're fine as shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like
they still look good, and the rest of us are like, you have 2 teeth.
Yeah,
like, your face is full of crater. But it's because it poisons your mind, and it also poisons your your judgment. So somebody that you really cared about was very honest, and so not only did you have to get past your own pride, you had to get past, like I said, your brain being poisoned. And get past, like I said, get past your own feelings, and you utilize it as the catalyst to, to your recovery. Have you ever spoken with him and let him know that kind of was like, oh shit, that kind of, that's awesome. That's
good. No, he knows it. He even said, he was like, I wasn't even saying it like to be, mean or anything. And it's just, I've always been very sensitive, like about my skin. So I had immediately taken it. I was like,
Yeah. Oh girl, me too. Pandemic was not nice to my skin. All of a sudden, my hormones were like, oh, what, girl? It's gonna change a whole lot. Okay, so did you find out that when you started to make that change, did you also have to change your environment and change your crowd and change your, like your friends group? And if so, how did they handle that? Was it like kind of easy? Did you realize like, well, those weren't very fruitful or, meaningful relationships because they haven't even hit me up to see how I'm doing, through this process, or once you told them that you no longer drink, you started getting less and less invites to do things. And, so is that something that you had to deal with? Because most of us usually have to deal with that aspect of a big life change,
Um,
especially when the activity wasn't very fruitful or the healthiest for you. Did you ever kind of experience anything like that or?
no, honestly, like I really like don't have friends. So like unfortunately, yeah, I've kind of lived like a pretty lonely life. So it's like that's kind of like a positive where I was just like no one, like dropped me or anything like that. So I was pretty like closeted alcoholic at that time. Unfortunately, I didn't get out of the environment of my parents' house at that time either. So still kind of stuck in that abusive, toxic environment was pretty triggering. So I think it was just me like changing my own habits and my own
Yeah.
mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. Being accountable. I say that all the
Yeah.
time. Like that should be
Exactly.
everybody's motto every year.
Yeah.
Once you're accountable and you're not afraid of that self-reflection and that introspect that you have to have, I know my weaknesses. I
Yeah.
know, but I also know what I need to do to not fall into a pattern of living by those weaknesses.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a procrastinator, but when I need to get shit done, I turn out some of the best work and shit that I ever do. But if I was lying to myself, then I probably wouldn't be where I am now as far as my career and
Yeah.
the aspirations that I have for my life. Um, so talking more about now that you were able to start using cannabis and your creativity of your art
Yeah.
together, when did you start realizing, hey, you know what? This is a talent that I should start sharing with others.
It was actually like when I became homeless. So
Oh,
it
wow.
was, yeah, it was right when COVID hit. So my parents ended up making me homeless because they just didn't honestly want me living there. Like they're just like, you know what, we're done with you. Like we're done with your smoking, just you having a job and stuff like that. And so they ended up just like kind of kicking me out. So at that point, I was staying with my boyfriend and his grandma is a bipolar alcoholic. So you can only imagine that environment's really not the best
Yes, probably
either.
not at all. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, girl. Oh
not at
wow.
all. And so that was kind of when I don't know, I was just smoking and I would grab like an old newspaper and I would just draw on it or I'd paint on it. And it's like I couldn't
Hmm.
afford canvases at that time. I honestly didn't even have any art supplies really. And so that was just kind of my vice at that time. And then
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
was at that point my boyfriend, he's like, you know what? He's like, you're so talented. He's like, you should be like, either posting this or like getting this out
Hmm.
here
Hmm.
somehow, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, at that point I was kind of just like, oh no, like it's for fun, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's
Yeah.
just something that
Yeah.
helps me, you know what I mean? That's kind of how I always thought of it. And then I actually had made like my first canvas. I did like the whole resin coating. I got my first
Hmm.
spray paint. So it was really like my first one in my style that I do now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that right there just kind of like, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, this is it. I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. I've always kind of wanted this like cool style of art for a
Hmm.
place. And like, that's kind of
Hmm.
just always been my dream is like, if I can envision this place, if I can create this art, I know eventually I'm going to have that safe place to be able to put it.
Yeah.
So then,
And it could be a safe place for others, and
exactly.
that's usually what will happen is that you'll end
Yeah.
up being a refuge or,
Yeah.
providing that sense of belonging for someone else.
Yeah.
Um, I love that. And I remember you saying that you wanted to get into tattoos, and I was like, girl,
Yeah.
I love tattoos. And I say this all the time. You can only really be a tattoo artist if you have the ability to draw in the first
Yes.
place. And it
Hmm.
has to be more than that. You have to have the artistic eye to be
Yeah.
able to bring things to light, into to life. And so I love that your journey, it's still like you're still evolving, but that
Yeah.
you are very you're resourceful and you are very naturally intelligent.
Thank
So
you.
people say there's a street smart and then there's like a book smart.
Yeah.
You've definitely taken the street smart and like I said, that's that Bay Area mentality right
Yeah.
there though.
Exactly.
And things that you've done, you just kind of like went in head first. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so I like that you said that the first piece that you did, you end up doing resin and all that. And some people be like, resin weed? Like there's a lot of things that people don't know about what goes into creating
Yeah.
art.
Hmm.
Um, so for you to go from somebody who didn't have art tools or anything to then being able to creating your first piece and then knowing what
Yeah.
you needed to do to create your style.
Hmm.
Um, that was that's super powerful. I'm an
Um,
Aries. I'm really into to things
yeah.
like that, but it's super powerful because that was the time that um, one of those signs that the universe provides to you
Yeah.
that so much we ignore because of everyday life,
Yeah.
but that was And you definitely keep that story because that is very inspirational because we barely or very rarely do we realize when we have that aha moment.
Yeah. I would say really,
Yes.
it was right before the show that when I had met you,
Mhm.
and it was, I'd actually gotten fired from my full-time job that I had been at for for over a year. Yeah. And so it was a crazy story. This girl who I worked with years ago, she bullied me at this job. She ended up finding me at this job that I had worked at. And she pretended like she didn't know me for the first like week that she came. And then she tried to befriend me and I'm so sorry for bullying you. That was not me. So it was just like kind of this whole act. And so me being, trying to be like a good empathetic person, I was like, okay, like I'm going to give her a second chance because that's kind of my thing in life is I always give people a second chance. It was my mistake. And so she actually had she went to HR and she had lied and said that I was making suicidal comments at work, making her feel uncomfortable. And I had never said, yeah, I never said anything. Yeah. But yeah, I ended up getting terminated. And it was actually in that moment that like I took the termination really harsh. Like it affected my mental health so badly. And it was kind of in that moment that like I just spur of the moment drew a logo, and it was a logo for a company or it was not even a company, but it was like me and my friend, like we used to sell weed. So like that was kind of our thing, was like, like a little logo and stuff like that. But so I ended up just kind of drawing an image for that. And it was really me pouring out all this emotion of being fired and that anger into this piece. And I had looked at that piece when I finished and I said, fuck this. I said, I'm fucking going to be an artist. I said, honestly, thank God I got fired because this is exactly what it took for me to be able to get that passion, that drive to then do this.
Yeah. And to finally go, okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, so what do I need to do, to do that?
Yeah.
And it's such a good time because, digital artists or now I'm calling, like I said, cannabis artists.
Yeah.
I mean, I have in my Instagram right now 3 different cannabis logo creators that have hit me up. And they're like, you need a logo? And I responded to one, have you looked at my stuff? Does it look like I need one?
Yeah,
like I'm kind of good right now. I will smoke when I need, but you are a great example of what I like to point out to people in the, that want to be in the industry. And they're like, but I don't grow because everybody thinks you have to grow. You have to touch the flower.
Yeah, no.
You do not. There's so many services and things that are needed. And art's a part of everything. So, you have the aspect of, and he could tell you this is the way that my mind works. I have like 10,000 ideas that I can share with you right now that, services that you can start providing and things that you can start doing with your talent.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I love that you understand that instead of you getting let go, maybe getting unemployment for a little bit, and then after 3 months, getting back out there and, going back to another just over broke, which is what jobs really are.
Exactly.
Just over broke.
Exactly.
There's no passion, there's no career in it. And because you seem like a person, like I said, that is dedicated to creating your own life and to winning by your definition, you probably were a very good employee. And, from your past, like you said, you keep, those that are your friends close to home. So to have this person that had been negative in your life before, but you are trying to change. So then you went ahead and like we all should, you give people a chance, but haters and jealous ass bitches they're not gonna change their stripes,
No.
Ended up putting you in a bad situation. But I've done that before. When I worked in corporate world, hubby used to always tell me like, they're your coworker, not your friend. And I'm like, no, but they're my friend.
Same. I'm the same mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely getting burnt a couple of times in the past, but I look at it now because it's very funny. I had the same type of situation. So somebody was a good friend. And then when it came down to maybe us getting in some trouble or I was working at a culinary school, a student did something. I was gone on vacation. That bitch sang and lied like the HR and did all the shit. So when I get back from, I think I was in Vegas, a good friend of mine texted me and was like, you may want to come in after work. Like I work till 8 tonight. You may want to come in after and pack up your desk. I was like, what? He's like, I know you well enough. And I'm just letting you know that this, X and Y and Z happened. So I was hurt. I was hurt. And pretty bitter. And then probably about 10 years later, I'm working at a solar company. So this was one of the last jobs that I worked at. And I walked through the training area and I will never forget her name. and I see the new training class and all of their name tags, and I immediately I was going pee, and look, when I have to pee, I have to pee. I stopped, turned around, went back to my desk, got my phone, went outside. I go, babe, guess who's getting ready to start here on Monday? And I'm not as well together as I was then. I was a little more petty.
Yeah.
I went and told the training class manager. I went and told all my coworkers. I mean, I just felt like a revenge is a dish that's served cold. So at that time, my mindset was, well, let me do to her what she did to me.
Yeah.
And when she started, she tried to act like she didn't know me for like a good 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then talked to me randomly at like a company event one day. And now she's actually a very, very successful business owner of a spirit brand that started here in the City of Trees. And we've come across each other's paths so many times
Oh
since
my
then.
God.
And I just had to like take a step back
Yeah.
and go, I can't allow people to live in my mind rent free.
Yeah.
And she probably don't think about me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
let me go ahead and change my mindset and just take that experience and learn from it
Yeah.
and make it, help me to make me a better person. So I could very much relate when you were telling that.
Oh.
And I could tell also that it was something for you that was a hard thing to deal with.
Yeah.
And affected you. But if you don't mind me asking kind of back, and I know we're at 2 hours, so I'm gonna wrap this
You're
up here.
good.
But
Don't worry.
I mean, God, she's gonna be back on, guys. 'Cause, she's has a very powerful message. But when you mentioned that you were homeless,
Yeah.
how long was that? And are you still with that same boyfriend?
Yeah. So I am actually staying in his one bedroom apartment.
Okay.
Oh my God, his one bedroom apartment right now. But yeah, I'm kind of like still dealing with it. Yeah. So I would say it's probably going on to like a little over 2 years. For a while, I was just actually, I was staying with random people from work,
Yeah.
awful situations, to trying to stay back with my parents, didn't work out. So it's kind of just, it's really been like from like house to house to house. And
Yeah.
like, I kind of am like living out of a little bag and stuff. So
Bro, I
just,
did the same thing when I got my
yeah,
husband. All my shit was in the trunk of my Cougar, my '88 Cougar.
yeah,
But I will say, I who you're with now, he seems like such a supportive person,
yes,
and he was he was brought to you and brought in your life by the universe to be able
yeah,
to teach you that you are worthy of love
yeah,
and that you are worthy of a better life. And regardless of if not your parents are going to be involved in that, that's
yeah.
going to be for them to have to deal with when,
Hmm.
I hate to be morbid, but on their deathbed or whatever they have
Yeah,
to come to
no,
terms with,
exactly. Yeah.
that's going to be for them. You need to live in the now, in the present,
Hmm.
and take any experience with them as it is. It's
Yeah.
supposed to make you a better person and a stronger person. And we all have doubts. So if there's ever a time that you do have that doubt, and we are our worst critics. And so that inner
Yeah.
voice
Oh,
and
yeah.
that conversation you have with yourself can be the
Yeah.
most detrimental. Just hear my voice and knowing, I'm a little bit older, a little bit, but just hear my voice and knowing that you do you and do the damn thing. You have a lot to be proud of.
Thank
And
you.
there's always somebody doing worse. And
Yeah.
you're doing better than those people because of your mindset and because you don't go, oh, something else bad has happened. Well, I might as well
Yeah.
just, slide deeper into the abyss. You allow each obstacle, like I said, to be a stepping stone, to
Yeah.
be that stepping ladder, that step stool to get you to the next point of where you're supposed to be. Um, I'm super excited to see where you are in a year with your
Yeah.
business, with the opportunities. I mean, being that we're finally getting back to normal, and in our
Yeah.
area, there's starting to be more of a focus with having more events and doing more cannabis-based events and things like that. And now
Hmm.
I'm about to show anytime anybody that I talk to anybody that needs a logo or drawing or anything,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be passing them off to you. So,
Thank
I
you.
no, I'm really excited to see your growth. Where you take this. Like I said, I started this industry thinking this is gonna be my thing.
Yeah.
And, now 6 years later, I am more than just a brand educator. I am X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm excited to see where you are, where there's going to be you giving classes, whether it's going to be you actually owning your own, tattoo shop, which I will be right
Yeah.
there. I will leave some real estate for you to, do a
Yes.
nice add on. I mean, and in the process, before you start, they call it like an apprenticeship you kind of do
Yeah.
when you start, you
Mhm.
should really just kind of start drawing the designs for people's
Yeah.
tattoos.
That's what I was
Um,
doing as a kid always, because like I've wanted to be a tattoo artist since I was 10 years old. So I'm like literally all growing up, I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a tattoo. And like I would actually specifically only draw in like just different tattoo styles.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should totally do it. And something I discovered the other day, especially within this within content creation, if you don't want to be on camera, sometimes a lot of people use, the 3D avatars and things like
Oh
that.
yeah. Hmm.
And so I kind of wanted an anime based one because my youngest one is anime crazy.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I started kind of researching the other day, and there's so many people who just have a Twitter account or an Instagram account, or they're on like Fiverr or something like that, and they you say it, you are it, okay? So
Yeah.
they say that they are a digital, content creator or,
Yeah.
digital artist or whatever it may be. And there's a good amount of people that have had some moderate success.
Yeah.
Some people that I stalked when I was looking it over, they had a traditional 9 to 5 a year ago, and
Yeah.
now all that they do is, commission art pieces. So,
Yeah.
just know that there is a space for you, and
Yeah.
you're meant to carve out your own. But I'm very excited to see, your growth. And if there's anything I can ever do, please don't hesitate to reach out at all.
Thank
Um,
you.
I think that like I said, there's a lot of people out there that will be able to relate to your story um, in so many different aspects. I mean,
Yeah.
your story may mirror exactly theirs, or maybe
Yeah.
there's bits and pieces. What I will say is that you should be very proud of yourself for being able to identify, hard times and things like that, and maybe why your upbringing was a little harder and things like that. But you've also, like I said, been able to find your own version of therapy. It's just now
Yeah.
become a thing for people to look at their mental health.
Yeah.
People go to the
Right.
dentist, people
Yeah.
go get their eyes checked, people go to the
Hmm.
doctor, maybe not as often as they should, but they keep the wellness up about all those other things, but we fail to take care of people that may have, a mental instability, or just
Yeah.
not everybody can cope the same way,
Hmm.
So,
Exactly.
um, like I said, and like I said to all the listeners and the viewers, she is going to be without a doubt a a um a form of inspiration and motivation and a resource that others can tap into or can relate to be able to get your goals done, to be able to get yourself started on your journey. And when you're on a journey, you always need help. You always need a journey buddy. You always need an
Hmm.
accountability buddy. Um,
Exactly.
and I think this is why social media has, there's definitely some downsides to it, but there are many, many positives as well. I've
Yeah.
met some great people that I've never laid eyes on, and they're a
Hmm.
co-collaborator now, or,
Yeah.
I will consider them more than just a acquaintance because of my career. I consider them friendly.
Yeah.
Um, so while we've had so much, and I know everybody's like, "Are you finally gonna smoke?" I am finishing this. She's just kept me so busy. While we've had so many things,
So knowledge. Fuck knowledge. Roll up. Trying to get high.
sometimes I wish he was on camera because I can totally feel and see his body, his energy, and the faces that he's making. So anytime that he presses the button, that's exactly how he's feeling. He's looked over his shoulder at me like 7 times.
I don't. Could you hear that last clip? I don't know if I played it where you could hear it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a DMX. If you guys are DMX fans, if you guys know about Belly, one of the favorite things that he says is like, you roll up, I'm trying to get high, or like you taking like we tell people you babysitting that blunt. I can't stand
I
passing
love that.
just people. Oh my god! Or when they like make love to it, I'm like, that is
Yeah.
all the way down your throat. You can
Making
have
out
it.
with the blunt. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh, R.I.P. to the goat, one of the goats. Yeah, so that's one of my favorite quotes. I like to tell people, hey, roll up, trying to get high. Or that's your man's in them. I get that from my hubby and his frat brothers. But date myself again. Anywho, one last thing, because I am gonna let you go. And then we are definitely gonna be talking about future collaborations and
Definitely.
I would love for you to be involved in a couple events that I'm gonna be doing. I think that you would be great at kind of teaching like a art class to,
Yeah.
to people that want to learn. Like I am very good at drawing stick people. Great at it. Now my 11-year-old, he is an artist like crazy. This boy draws anime characters. I mean,
I
we
remember you
watched the
saying
movie.
that.
Yeah, what was the movie we watched? Oh, Luca. We had watched Luca.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. And like 2 days later, he brings me a picture, and I was like, "Where'd you get this drawing of the friend that what was his name, Rodrigo or Rico or whatever his name was?" But I was like, "Where'd you get this drawing from?" He's all, "I drew it," and I said, "From scratch?" I mean, the character just jumped off the page. Like I want to be like, "Are you
Ooh.
secretly working with Disney and Pixar?" And I didn't know it because it was very, very good. But
He's got the talent.
yeah, and like you said, cannabis and creativity led you to understanding your art. So
Yeah.
we'll talk though. I don't like to put all my stuff out there so somebody steals my idea. Banana cream, guys. Finally, I got the spark of salutation going. But last thing here. Thank you. So let's just say I had a magic wand and I was going to grant 3 wishes for you and for your future. What would those 3 be? And the last thing that we do on each episode is we have our guest co-host do a mic drop. Say something, a quote, something that somebody wants to put on a t-shirt, a tidbit that you've learned through your life, whatever it may be. So last 2 things, lady, and I'm gonna let you go. So I have my magic wand. I'm like, there you go, 3. Or I guess that would be Aladdin. So I'm Aladdin. What are your 3 wishes or your goals?
You're the genie?
I said I'm Aladdin.
Aladdin didn't grant wishes.
Right.
The genie did.
Aladdin. Just kidding. I did that on purpose to see if he was paying attention. Babe. So yes, what would those be, lady?
I would probably say the first wish would be I would just wish to be successful enough to be able to do what I really want to do as a tattoo artist, because I just want to be able to afford to help people with mental health issues, because I feel like giving a tattoo is such an intimate healing experience that I would want to be able to, if someone's struggling, they can't afford it, hey, come to my shop, you know what I mean? Like, let me give you a tattoo, let's have a session, talk to me, like this is a safe place. So I feel like, yeah, definitely like a way to be comfortable enough to have that means to be able to do that.
I like that.
And
I like
say,
that. Write your shit down. Make a vision board, girl. You will make it
yeah,
happen. I mean, that's very unique. And if you think about it, though,
Thank
it
you.
is a form of therapy. It definitely can be. Especially if it's a memorial piece, or my very first tattoo was a heart and a T because I was 17 and very conceited. And then I sang my name was Divalicious. I hate it now, and I always wanted to say I'll cover it. I go, but no, my tattoos tell my story.
Okay.
And there's some therapeutic relief and or a good memory tied to each one of them. So that's a good idea, girl. That's a good idea. I may have hubby edit that out because I don't want anybody else stealing your idea.
Oh, okay.
No, but seriously, speak shit into existence. You never know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so being successful, being able to reach your ultimate goals, that's number 1.
Yeah.
I'll make it easier for you. So let's say business-wise, and if I said that I can make something happen for you in the next 6 months to a year, what would you want that to be?
Like just having a stable place for me to be able to produce the artwork, because I'm kind of going just back and forth and like it's pretty hard. So I'd say if I would wish for like a house to have all of the means to do it. Yeah.
I am definitely going to be sending you, because I know of a place already that I know that they do not charge, and it's more of a communal thing. So we'll talk about that.
Thank you.
And you're very welcome. Oak Park area is a really good place to start. A lot of the businesses there, they like to give unknowns and entrepreneurs and things like that. They love to give you your platform.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely look into that area, and then just community, just like community organizations.
Yeah. Okay.
Stuff like that. Yeah, and like mid-Sac, downtown. But
yeah,
you said I wasn't comfortable where we live. I hardly ever say the city we live in, but I just looked it up. So yeah, that is awesome. And then I'll make the last one for you, for your development, for who you are as a woman now and who you want to be. What is the one thing or wish or whatever that you would want to be blessed with?
I feel unlimited therapy sessions would be really cool because then I could heal my PTSD faster. Yeah.
Like I said before, I think that you would probably be a very easy client for someone.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to go in and go, you got your pen ready? You got your pad ready? Let's start with my parents. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I think you've been able to identify the trauma that's actually right in front of your face.
Exactly.
And maybe they would help you discover residual trauma because, our environment, there's that nature versus nurture. But I could also see you in 5 or 10 years being like, well, I thought I was going to go ahead and pay somebody $100 an hour, but my art became that for me.
So that's actually what my therapist, because I have a therapist right now and I see him like once a week. And that's actually what because like, just being the catalyst with my circumstances and stuff. And he says, he's like, that is going to be your coping mechanism. Like that is you being present in that moment so that you are, healing yourself. And so he even said, he's like, that itself is healing to the inner child and all that trauma and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, that's very good. So see, look, I know what I'm talking about. No.
Yeah, you
You
do.
No, I think that's very good. And I want to say you, once again, an inspiration, a motivation, an example. I think that your generation and age group, mine, like I said, I'm just a couple years older than you, but mine, we're on the cusp. We had Nintendos and then all of a sudden we had computers, we had Zach Morris, big, thick phones. And maybe if you had a cell phone, like it was prepaid to all of us are able to use our phones, little computers now, so we are on the cusp where we can understand both. So we grew up during the generation that you did not go to a psychiatrist or counselor.
Yeah.
You did not do that. And especially in ethnic backgrounds,
you
don't do that. You pray about it, you talk to your auntie, or you know what I'm saying? You do all these other things, which, centuries ago, you did do things within your community. Things are different now. So I have to say that, although there are some things we can say that you guys, some of you may not know how to communicate or, do anything other than texting or, there's some downsides that we can be old fuddy-duddies and sound like we can say that what's wrong. But I think that a lot of the strengths that your generation shows and just, people that are okay with being themselves now, it's okay to admit that I do get help.
Exactly.
Somebody. So that is something also that you should be very proud of and know that, from this episode, there may be somebody that goes and follows you on Instagram and they may not comment, they may not come to an event and purchase anything, but you're changing their lives when they go through, your Instagram feeds or whichever may be, and having events, and being a guest co-host and telling your story like this. It you're gonna touch so many lives, not just locally, but all across the planet, the universe. So I love those three. And I love that you actually thought about it and like I kind of stumped you for a second because
you did.
That means that that you are deserving of these things that you would wish for, that you would see for yourself. Well, finally, last thing, I hear your baby in the back. I hear your baby.
Yeah, she's like going crazy.
Tell her to.
She's like, where are you?
So last thing, what would be your mic drop? What would be your Kanye West moment? Like you say some shit and then you're like, boom, talk about it. What would that be?
I would just say, make the most of what you got because you only get one life.
Hey, there you go. It's true until you're reincarnated.
Yeah, but we only get one life on Earth here. So.
Yes, on this Earth. I like to believe that I just found out today that there are 300 and something exoplanets.
Yeah.
And I truly believe in other life forms. So I was like, holy shit, there's 300 other possible ways of living. And we think we are the center of the fucking universe. Like,
exactly.
We don't even know about. So, but yeah, so I want to thank you so much, guys. I could definitely talk about some other things and, be another hour.
Right.
But I think that you guys will get the message that I was hoping that you would get from having her as a guest host. And I mean, when we met, we spoke maybe 20 minutes and kind of on
Yeah.
and off because we were both working the event.
Yeah.
But I walked away and I know I came home and I told hubby and I was like, I met someone and like she could be my little sis. I was like, I just felt, I just felt that. And are you an Aries? Is that
I
what you
am. Yeah,
discovered?
that's what I was like.
That's
Yeah, we vibed on the Aries.
Yes, that's what it was too. See? Yep,
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, and before I forget, my friend that came that day and she
Oh
made a purchase.
yeah.
She just got back from a cruise, like 4 hours ago. But she was gonna come over so that she could say hi and see how you're doing. But she did say hello and she spoke so highly of you as well. Like,
Oh.
she and this was even before she knew that you were gonna be a guest. And when I told her you're gonna be a guest, she was like, "Oh my God, what day? What day?" Now, initially we were supposed to do this a couple days ago, but she was in, the
Yeah.
ocean. So she was like, "I'm not gonna make it." But she'll be very happy to hear that you're doing well.
Yeah.
And we'll have to get together. We
Yeah,
smoke. She
definitely.
can't really smoke, so it'll be just you and I.
Yeah.
She starts to hit it too much and she starts having different accents.
Oh, I love that. See, we could go
Oh,
with that.
oh yeah, she does all the time. Like she'll be from New York, or
Yeah.
then it's so
I
funny. She
love
just slips
that.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, guys, I want to thank you so much. And once again, I am so grateful. And I mean, words can't express how thankful I am to have you on. And even more so at your transparency and sharing your story. And like I said, I know I'm not the end all be all, but I think you're a very, very powerful woman. And you are an example of why we are strong and why we keep overcoming. Um, and I mean, one of my biggest pet peeves is when people go, they're 36, they're total fuck ups, and they're like, well, I grew up. Shut up. Was that yesterday? Like, how have you lived from
Exactly.
18 to now? You can't live your life
Yeah.
like that,
No.
That girl that lied on you and hated on you, she's stuck in whatever stage of her adolescence or upbringing
Yeah.
that she was in all those years ago. So take solace in that, or take comfort in knowing she may see this interview, she may hit you. She probably is one of those creepers on your Instagram.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
know,
she is. I know she is.
yeah,
Yeah.
she totally created a Finsta just so she could follow you. Um,
Mhm.
so yes. So once again, guys, you know how I do. This episode itself, because I am now on 2 hours and 23 minutes, minus a little bit. The hubby will probably break this up, so you guys will be seeing this in the next couple weeks. I'll make sure I'll make the announcement. Um, I will send you the graphic that I created for the marketing just to get your approval on it
Okay,
as
cool.
well. And guys, I do have a not only new website, but my pod page, which is something that I use for my podcasting. One of them, as well as my website, it gives me the option to create web pages for each individual guest. So I will be creating that for our guest co-host. So maybe they want to share their story or do a blog, or maybe there's some questions that you want to go ahead and ask her and have her back on, and we can address those. Just know that that's coming, and you'll have the access to her. Other than that, if you guys forget everything, if you haven't been looking at if you're not visually watching this, or you don't go and follow me or do your due diligence to find out her contact information, hit me up. I will connect you to. I may be a little bit of a bodyguard because now I feel like my girl. It's my girl. Don't fuck with my people.
Right?
No, Aries are like that. Once we do fight somebody, we are loyal as fuck, and I will
Yeah.
fight you. Okay. If I will fight you over almost Eminem, who kind of know, I will, and somebody that I physically have talked to, then you should know. Don't play. So, once again, I want to thank you so much for your time. It has been awesome. I am excited for people to hear about or to listen to this episode, to view it. And I'm excited to see your influence grow. I think that you have a lot of awesome things in store for you, and you should be super, like I said, proud of yourself.
Thank
Um,
you.
so you're very welcome. So the hubby, I know he has homework to do. He's tired. He's like, stop talking. Thank you so much once again, my awesome hubby. I'll make it up to you.
I love you too.
And you guys, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I will make sure that I leave and I get your YouTube channel so
Yeah.
that I can share that. And you guys want to please run up her numbers and subscribe as well. And we'll definitely be talking. So
Yeah.
look out for her once again. But in all the ways to say thank you. What is it? Denata? And I think that's the only way that I know how to say it other than English. But once again, Thank you so much. It's your girl, the Mary J. Maven. Educate, eradicate, elevate. Love you guys. Talk to you next time.
Welcome to Menage with the Mary J. Maven Podcast with your host, the Mary J. Maven. I am the producer, the hubby. Follow us on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Show us some love and click that subscribe button now. Don't forget to click the bell so you get notifications and click the like button on the videos.
And now, your host.